Hello, and welcome back to another Daily Top 10's Top 10 video. Mother Nature can be a cruel and heartless parent, and given the enormous number of things that die at her hands every year, it's probably about time someone called social services on her. And if you thought Mr. Fluffles being hit by a car was bad, sometimes she takes her eyes so off the ball that she lets tens, hundreds, even thousands of creatures all snuff it together, often for reasons that remain unclear to us. Today, we look at the top 10 mystery mass animal deaths. Number 10. Nova Scotia Marine Massacre. In Nova Scotia, Canada, at the end of 2016, the beaches began to get seriously crowded. Species after species started washing ashore, from seals to herring, starfish, clams, lobster, and others. And we still don't know what the cause was. At first, there were reports of lacerations in many of the creatures, so it could have been a large whale-feeding frenzy. But the number of creatures and the variety made this unlikely. Seismic activity was suggested, as well as a gas bubble from the sea floor. Or maybe someone was just trying to make a really overambitious seafood chowder. Number 9. Birds of Jersey. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it... Oh, nope, it's crashed to the ground and it's definitely a bird. 200 red-winged blackbirds rained to the ground in Stowe Creek, New Jersey. And that was the second time in less than 3 weeks, although it had just been a couple of dozen the first time round. There were suggestions that it could have been related to pesticides used on many of the local crops, but there was no evidence to support it. The post-mortem on the birds found no trace of pesticides, just trauma and internal bleeding, which is hard to avoid if you fall out of the sky. Number 8. Karaboom. Unless Santa has been fooling around with Thor's wife, it's hard to explain why 300 reindeer were killed by lightning in a Norwegian park. Although the first image you'll probably picture is of the lightning hitting all their antlers. It really would have to hit the ground and spread, being able to reach hundreds of meters from the center of the impact. So there's quite a large target zone. And while reindeer aren't such a common target, there have been cow herds all over the world that met a similarly shocking fate. Number 7. Chilean coast. Chile as a country is basically all shoreline. This sounds great until you find out that it spent large parts of 2016 having its beaches fill up with dead animals. Sardines are extremely difficult to make sandcastles out of, and whales really get in the way of beach volleyball. The exact cause is unclear, although it's probably a combination of factors, such as fish farming, which causes toxic algae to bloom, and the storm El Niño was probably part of it too. Locals only got really mad when no one arranged a cleanup for 10,000 dead squid, and the rot set in. Yum. Number 6. Penguin killer. Of all the things likely to be assassinated, penguins probably wouldn't be high on anybody's list. But a zoo in Calgary, Canada, found 7 Humboldt penguins dead one morning, and the necropsies performed on the body only revealed that they had drowned. There was no sign of infection or toxins, and the penguins were a mixture of ages. So it's a complete mystery how this many of the greatest bird swimmers on the planet managed to all drown at the same time. It's like having giraffes die of dwarfism or a sloth die of exhaustion. So it was probably assassins. Number 5. Antelope attack. If someone showed you a picture of the Saiga antelope and told you they had been dying off in the hundreds of thousands, your reaction might be, good, they are clearly demon beasts and a sign of the apocalypse. But now there's only a few thousand left in Russia, with 95% of them being female. So unless the males have supernatural stamina, it looks like this species might turn extinct within our lifetime. The final big blow was in 2015, when 120,000 dropped dead in a few days in Kazakhstan, thanks to a mystery infection. Number 4. Howl no more. It's all quiet on the Central Front, since almost 5% of the howler monkey population has mysteriously died off in Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Panama, and other countries further south. With no signs of physical injury, it's likely that a disease is the root. And the worrying thing is, they are extremely susceptible to yellow fever and often act as an early warning against a human outbreak. Another suggested reason is drought. Although rainforests are kind of famous for their, rain, Costa Rica had its worst drought in 100 years in 2016, and monkeys were seen coming out of the trees to find water, which is very unusual. Number 3. Pygmy elephants. Pygmy elephants are native to Borneo, and although they would get picked on in elephant school, they're still a few feet taller than a human, normally measuring in at over 8 feet. But their population now matches their stature, with only 1,500 remaining. So it was even sadder to find 14 dead in the Gunung Rara Forest Reserve. It's assumed it was some toxin, and there are even rumors that the nearby oil palm plantation killed them off just for being a nuisance. Number 2. Pilot down. In 2011, over 100 pilot whales navigated off course and ended up stranded on various islands in New Zealand over a period of a few weeks. There's no sure reason behind it, although it's believed that shifts in the tectonic plates may have set them off course. Maps are a real pain underwater, so the shifts may have messed with their internal GPS. These plate shifts can lead to large earthquakes, and the last time there was a mass stranding of whales in Australia and New Zealand was in the months before the devastating 2004 tsunami. Number 1. Dogs of Auckland. Finding dead whales on a beach is obviously sad, but finding dead dogs is much more mysterious, as diseases and accidents are far more likely to happen in crowded urban areas. Investigators crawled the beach looking for either a man-made contaminant or a natural toxin. They eventually identified a gray sea slug that had a powerful toxin called TTX, with each slug having enough to kill 4 adult humans. Of course, the true tragedy here is that no one really cares about the poor slugs, massacred by these wolves of the shore. Thanks for watching another Daily Top 10's Top 10 video. And remember, it's our duty to entertain and yours to subscribe.
Please subscribe to Daily Top 10. Woo! Please subscribe to Daily Top 10. Please subscribe to Daily Top 10. Woo!